You might think something like building and agriculture are these very, very different things, and it kind of a bizarre idea to be teaching that and medicine all in the same school, but to me it's just life. It's all the exact same approach. These are the pillars of our civilization. We are all completely dependent on the architecture and the agriculture. I think the building thing, right from when I was a child, was an incredibly magical thing. As I was saying, it is for all children. And then I had the good fortune of not being trained professionally. Because nothing will kill the spirit of something like being trained professionally. The houses we make now have no soul without the handwork in them, without all the attention that's given to something. We pass right by all the magic and the soul of the thing, and we're reduced to these cookie-cutter, manufactured, gutted beings. But you make the building out of concrete and then you isolate it and you do all those other things. You're truly making a little jail cell for yourself. It's not a pretty picture to imagine millions and millions of us trapped in these little concrete cells. And the powers that be have kind of taken away building from the common person. You know, they'd also taken away medicine and agriculture, and we're starting to see agriculture come back. So, to a lesser degree, that's starting to happen with buildings. In my way of seeing things, buildings are temples. We lost sight of it. If you build a building properly, then all the measurements, the direction, the orientation of the building to the sun, to the stars, the pieces of the building that you're putting in place, they all resonate with reality if the building's being done in a connected way, so it becomes a focal point of resonance. And that's what a temple is. So it's not some kind of pretentious thing like I'm saying, oh, this is as beautiful as a temple. I'm saying it is a temple. And so within this building, like the sill is 52 logs around. This is the Venus cycle. It's the King cycle. There's 28 poles that hold up the roof. That's the Saturn cycle. There's 13 sill pieces. That's the lunar cycle, the moon. The direction of the building is solar south. And so this is a solar east-facing door. The building is intimately connected, you know? And so connected to the Venus cycle, connected to the stars, connected to the moon. And so, you know, even though it's just mud and wood, it becomes elevated into this temple status. When you start really seeing cob for what it is and concrete for what it is, the cob becomes a holy thing. 25 people initially show up for this workshop, and everybody was able to participate fully without any tools. You know, because you're just making mud pies, essentially. You're making cob. You have to try these things, and then they're not perfect, and that's fine. That's how you learn. You get to a point, and you've made something like this, and it feels like a rite of passage. There's no other way to describe the satisfaction you get when you come out the other side of the thing. Like with all of these things, we came to them through divinity. We came to them through literal inspiration from another dimension. So when we carry that holy divine spark of inspiration, whether it's for weaving or pottery or agriculture or architecture for building, When we're carrying that, we know we didn't come up with this. You know, whereas the way that we live is we came up with everything. And if we're willing to acknowledge that all these things came from someplace else, it's very humbling. It's trying to bring it back to the handmade things. And you can research it. You can try to seek people out who know these old ways. We can listen to the quiet voices of our ancestors because they're always whispering us back. You know, when you have a bent and you're lifting up a bent of the building, the ancestors are smiling and laughing. Like they can feel the energy of these old pattern things. When you make a furrow in the ground with your hoe, the ancestors are laughing. You're tickling them, right? Because they did this exact movement 1,000 times you've done this movement. And so to refine those patterns that are still in our bones, you know, the knowledge is there. And it's only when you let your body start to go through the motions of those old things that the knowledge can kind of flow back out into your hands. You're doing them to feed into this beautiful co-creation, and then the lessons fall out of it. It's like agriculture. You're not doing it for production. You're just tending to the plants because they're our cousins. We have an agreement with them. They're part of our family. And then through you tending to them, there's this abundance created and given to you. And so there's no taking. There's only giving and receiving. And that's the old way. You know, that's the way we kept everything in balance. And so it seems to me this is where we can start to reclaim our lives and relearn how to practice these ancient arts in a good way, to embody them, and they themselves become guides to help us walk the sacred road.